My dear one, a quiet transfer is underway between the realm you can touch and the realm you cannot. It carries no price, yet its value outweighs gold and applause. It slips through the sky without noise, wrapped only in steady care and faithful intent. While others rush and shout their news, this gift travels in silence, aiming for the roof that covers your ordinary evenings and mornings. It is being delivered for one reason alone. Your name rests upon it, and the time to receive has come. This message is not a standard one. It bears an unseen seal, and your name glows on it brighter than ink could manage. Your physical eyes see nothing yet, but an appointed messenger, moving quicker than thought, already carries it down unseen roads toward you. Inside is the promise once murmured to your spirit. Perhaps in a dream, perhaps in a quiet nudge that you ignored because life grew loud. The promise was never mislaid. It was simply waiting for a fitting hour, which is now. Receive it gladly. Resist the urge to smother the small rise of hope with second-guessing. A long pause never cancelled the pledge. Through each delay, the commitment was held behind the scenes, shielded by wise timing and patient kindness. It was not stored on a shelf gathering dust. It was guarded as carefully as a candle in the wind. The clock has at last aligned, and the gift is moving toward you with speed no obstacle can match or delay. Doubt has no authority to keep it away. Let its quiet certainty breathe inside you. Your memories carry nights when questions echoed without answers. You sat with tear-damp sleeves, trying to understand how unfair blows kept landing. Sharp words pierced, trusted faces vanished, and your belief trembled like a thin trunk in a violent storm. Yet each time you staggered, something within urged you upright again. You walked on without congratulation, praying through emptiness, letting silent tears state what words could not. Those hidden hours etched depth into you as comfort never could. Even though you felt alone, they shaped resilience the world could not teach. There were mornings known only to you and me. When choosing calm over bitterness felt like the hardest work imaginable, you held the fragile idea that someday you would be called forward, though you had no timeline, only trust. That gathering of quiet days has brought you to this point. Your arrival is not due to flawless conduct or impressive strength, but because you stayed within your refuge, even when surroundings collapsed. Faith expressed in stillness registers louder in eternity than any public declaration. Such resolve never evaporates. It is remembered. What approaches you now is not a wage but a confirmation. It states in clear terms that you have been seen and that your season is changing course. The limbo path ends here. A more solid path begins. Expect shifts you can measure, opportunities you can feel, outcomes you can list on paper, peace you can sense in your chest. The heart that once felt punctured will discover steady rhythm, and the air around you will gain unfamiliar freshness. This is not theory. It will unfold rapidly in plain sight. Your storyline tilts from endurance toward completion, from parched soil toward underground water, from a dim corner into broad light. Some observers will scratch their heads. They evaluate by surface matters, but the unseen weighs quiet allegiance, and the often muttered line, "I still believe," spoken at times when even whispering felt heavy. You have repeated that line more occasions than you can count, and each repetition carried weight, even when you thought it vanished into empty air. Those unseen acknowledgments have been logged, forming a ledger now coming due. For that reason, this exact instant has been reserved to answer every request you lifted without hearing a reply. Each unseen act of trust invested in secret is beginning to show visible results. The field you thought was barren after long heat is preparing blossoms you never placed on your schedule. Your part is to remain attentive rather than frantic. For growth often unfolds in silence before it greets the daylight where everyone can see. You will witness color where only dust once lay. Receive this letter with steady hands and a ready heart. There is no need to dissect every sentence. Belief is enough. Each phrase carries breath shaped for your good and for the good of everyone bound to you by love or history, because you kept saying yes when it would have been simpler to quit. An entryway is swinging wide for your household. Loved ones who feel lost will find bearings through what is unfolding in you. They will walk beside you through the threshold and taste hope again. This begins today. You now stand on a pivot that will alter all you know. A brand new chapter is opening, solid, bright, immune to shaking. When light breaks onto this stage, it will not seek applause for you but will serve as a signpost pointing to the wellspring behind the shift. Let that certainty settle into your bones so pride never gains a foothold, even when results become visible. Hold gratitude close, and you will remain balanced when attention aims in your direction unexpectedly. Stay quietly amazed at everything. This notice will arrive like a soft gust, gentle enough to calm, strong enough to redirect. From the minute it touches you, the map of your life will revise itself. Thoughts, once knotted, will untangle. Relationships will sort into rightful order, and your calling will stand out with sharper edges. It will feel as though the whole framework around you, physical and unseen, is lining up to clear a corridor. You will sense the difference between coincidence and coordinated care. Every adjustment will echo the simple truth: you are being carried forward. The aim of this message is affirmation, not shock value. Each tear you swallowed in silence, each groan you traded for one more step has been counted. Those moments collect interest. What draws near is interest returned, not for your ego, but to prove that persistence matters. When it arrives, you may feel both relief and amazement. For effort you assumed forgotten will be named and answered. Remember them, and you will see how nothing was overlooked, not even the sigh offered in the dark when no friend was awake that night. These sentences are not soft filler meant to make you feel better for a moment. They carry an energy capable of turning locked handles. When your ears hear them, your heart may shiver, not from fear, but from deep recognition. This matches the whispered hope you stored away. That internal echo is evidence enough. Let it guide you forward with calm confidence. No outside approval will be required once your inner compass aligns. The power of concurrence inside you will silence arguments and supply clarity when questions attempt to pull you backward again. You are not walking alone. Somewhere, perhaps miles away, a person feels an urge they can't justify. Something inside them pushes toward a generous action involving you. They might be a stranger you have yet to meet or an acquaintance faded by time. Regardless, their steps are synchronized to a timetable set beyond human planning, and the cue they await is close. Be open to unexpected help. Do not dismiss messages, chance meetings, or sudden memories, because any of these could form the bridge that connects their obedience to your unfolding change. You once waited in silence, hoping some sign would confirm movement from above. Your world stayed still, and you wondered if your request had slipped through cracks. The very words you hear now are that long-sought marker. The voice that matters has spoken, and other voices cannot add or subtract from it. A core truth has settled inside reality itself, and its weight will pry loose every barrier that dared to stand. Rest in that certainty and watch resistance crumble, one obstacle at a time. People who previously overlooked you will hear your name in rooms you've never entered. Links that seemed out of reach will revive, not out of nostalgia, but because purpose calls them alive. Dreams pressed under doubt will rise again, supplied this time by verified promise, not fragile optimism. Your surroundings will look familiar. Yet opportunities hiding in plain sight will shine with clarity you could not summon before. You no longer need to campaign for understanding or persuade anyone of your path. Outcomes will speak louder than explanations. When the breakthrough arrives, your first instinct will not be to shout, but to bow in quiet wonder, murmuring, "I know the source." That posture will keep the blessing from turning into burden. Let events testify while you maintain humility. If questions arise, answer with kindness and brevity, allowing your life itself to illustrate the reply. In doing so, you give others space to see without pressure, fostering genuine recognition over time. Still, safeguard your heart. Not every detail belongs on public display. Some wonders require quiet shelter until they become stable. Share the visible fruit once it forms, but let the delicate process remain between you and the one guiding it. In that hushed space, you will keep gaining perspective, strategy, and maturity, qualities excitement alone can never supply. Patience is a hidden ally. It keeps gifts from arriving half-baked and teaches you how to steward them once they settle. Honor that rhythm, and lasting impact will follow naturally, without forced effort or strain. Recognize that this message signals a doorway, not a finish line. You are being lifted forward to guide, not to hoard. Prepare for widened vision and new assignments. The promise you clung to now carries a mission beside it. Your influence will stretch, inviting others into safety and courage. Do not shrink from that enlargement. Resources you require will appear alongside the responsibility, and wisdom will match opportunity. Accept both, and you will find fulfillment far deeper than personal gain. For you will witness growth in people who once felt forgotten completely. When the decisive call comes, you will realize you have become the resolution to someone else's quiet plea. The ripple of change will move outward, touching neighbors, colleagues, and even passing acquaintances. Your transformation will serve as living evidence that waiting can turn into breakthrough. People observing from a distance will sense hope stirring within their own stories and may reach out for guidance. Welcome them gently. Share what you learn rather than what you own, and watch a community of courage form around lessons gained through your long season of trust. Now a firm voice cuts through, open this. This is not casual advice. It carries full authority. There is no room for second-guessing because you stand at the threshold of words that will shift visible and invisible landscapes. Respond with willingness, and hesitation will lose its grip. The command arrives like clear morning air after heavy fog, undeniable, refreshing, urgent. Obedience in this moment will set momentum you could never manufacture. Delay would serve only to prolong ache you are not meant to carry. Step forward now. Honor is about to descend, not as payment for striving, but as confirmation of assignment. You have been selected, and the call is about to echo in plain daylight, leaving no uncertainty about its source. Expect the atmosphere around you to feel charged, as though anticipation itself hums. This surge is not theater. It is structural, rearranging circumstances so that purpose can stand sturdy and visible for all who watch with awe. Rumors once distorted your story. Doubt and envy reshaped your name behind closed doors. That era is finished. Truth rises. And the same voices that dismissed you will be unable to look away. Your elevation will need no defense, it will speak by simply existing. Remember, you were hidden deliberately so that you could emerge at a moment no one could anticipate. Let mercy guide your response to onlookers. Their surprise may become openness. Offer grace, and you will turn past tension into future partnership in ways argument never could achieve alone. Today. No vague later date marks the interruption. Repetitive cycles will pause so that what carries real weight can enter. Even time seems to hold its breath, creating room for a gift that refuses to squeeze into ordinary schedules. Pay attention. The ordinary will feel oddly quiet just before the extraordinary steps inside. Treat the silence as sacred rather than strange. Let it tune your ears so you can hear the subtle arrival. In that hush, you will feel old anxiety drain away, making space for calm anticipation. Welcome what's coming without restless motion. A proclamation bearing your address is forming. Its purpose is to shift your home from a place where tears once soaked pillows to a dwelling where presence and peace are plainly sensed by everyone who walks through the door. Expect the very atmosphere of your rooms to feel lighter, as though windows have opened in every direction. Conversations will sound different, and even silence will seem alive with calm, steady assurance. Nothing will feel the same. Open your heart now. Past wounds may whisper caution, yet they cannot dictate the future unless you let them. The real question is not how deep the pain ran, but whether you will unbolt the door today. The moment you choose openness, fresh life will begin to circulate through every cell, every thought, every breath. Allow hope to take up space. Choose it boldly, and you will sense vitality returning to places you assumed were numb. This surge will feel gentle yet undeniable, like sunrise warming stone after a long night. Lasting change always begins inside. When your interior door swings open to morning light, that light requires no extra invitation. It brings news you could never hunt down. And in fact, it is hunting for you. The delivery may come as an unexpected contact or an unexpected visitor holding a key to rooms you have not seen. Stay alert to the form, but focus on the substance, a new assignment. Whatever shape it takes, you will recognize its origin by the peace that settles the moment it arrives around you. Remove the old weights and step forward. Everything you need will meet you on the path. You may feel underprepared, yet provision is waiting at each milestone. Ideas, strength, and allies appearing precisely when the journey requires them. Trust the timing, and momentum will build like river current after winter thaw, letting you move without forcing the pace yourself forward. When the letter crosses your threshold and old shadows retreat, you will know the waiting days were never wasted. Every seeming detour served preparation. You will stand steady, not to compete for attention, but to carry out purpose. Others may marvel at your balance. They will not realize it was formed through quiet endurance. Carry that understanding with gentleness, using your steadiness as a shelter for those still facing their storms. Your stability will offer proof that peace can coexist with progress, that patience can birth strength few can shake or break. Stay awake. You are not being overlooked. You are being invited forward, and heaven leans in to witness. This choice was settled long before you recognized the pattern. Your part is simple, attentiveness coupled with courage. Walk through open doors with gratitude rather than nervousness. Each step will confirm that you are exactly where you should be. Do not rush, yet do not shrink back. Matching pace with guidance is an act of trust. And it will feel like walking on solid ground, even when evidence appears thin beneath your current view. When the eternal voice speaks, no wall can hold it back. The doorway you prayed over is swinging open. Now, this is not temporary encouragement. It is enduring reality anchored beyond changeable moods. Place your weight on it with full confidence, and you will not be disappointed. You may still feel the echo of former setbacks, yet they hold no authority in this moment. Watch them dissolve like vapors under sunlight, proving that final say belongs to purpose rather than obstruction. The path ahead is cleared for sincere hearts who dare believe. Believe in a way that sets you in motion. Open your heart the way dry earth opens to the first rain after drought. What arrives is not loss but restoration. Keep the letter in view as a new chapter begins, and let expectation energize your steps. Action rooted in trust will draw opportunities nearer, much like gravity working quietly yet surely. Do something small today that aligns with where you sense the story heading, and your faith will move from abstract idea into lived reality, marking progress you once thought impossible now. A stirring rises deep within, both unfamiliar and strangely known. It is no passing emotion. It is confirmation. The old promise is on approach, no longer faint, but tangible and impossible to treat as imagination. Let that certainty shape your outlook from this point forward. Speak out hopeful words that match what you sense. For agreement with truth amplifies its resonance. Each time you voice alignment, fear loses volume, and courage grows more at home inside your thoughts and actions every day. Soon, resolve will outshine every trace of lingering doubt completely. The message your soul hungered for travels directly toward you, bypassing obstacles. It comes now because you have reached the maturity needed for the next step. Delight in knowing that readiness, not luck, draws it near. Your earlier endurance built capacity. Now you can hold what once might have crushed you. Rejoice in that growth, and you will treat the gift wisely. Old impatience has been replaced with measured calm, allowing you to steward opportunity instead of chasing it. This difference will define the quality of the season opening before you fully. You once pictured a life free from outdated labels and half-hearted connections. That life is stretching out its hand now, inviting you past fear into a realm where glory is ordinary experience rather than distant theory. Step across the threshold. The story ahead waits for your yes. Let the past stay in the past. New rhythms, relationships, and opportunities will greet you, forming a daily existence marked by substance, not show. Accept this as your reality, and walk forward without apology, carrying quiet confidence everywhere your path unfolds from this point on. The road that once felt closed is opening in front of you. Barriers that used to push back have started to slide away, and the noise of slammed doors is fading into memory. I am not only sweeping debris aside, I am laying down new stones, shaping each turn with the quiet promises I spoke when you thought nothing was happening. Soon, progress that felt impossible will move at a steady pace. When meetings are set without effort and plans come together faster than expected, remember, this is no accident. It is evidence that I am working on your path. Trust the quiet evidence already rising under your steps. Pause and breathe. Feel the air settle on your skin, cool and constant. What you sense right now is more than calm nerves or a welcome break from noise. It is a steady presence that stays when emotions shift. Messengers you cannot see stand close, carrying a clear assignment. They are not here to impress or perform. Their task is simple and precise: deliver what I have to say, and place it in the right heart at the right location at exactly the right moment, so that nothing is missed. They wait until every condition aligns. Then they move without hesitation, because accuracy matters, before returning to silent watch. Notice how steadiness settles even in your thoughts today. Look around the room you are in. The floor may be plain, and the furniture ordinary. Yet this spot has become a meeting place between the seen and the unseen. Answers you have prayed for float near the walls, waiting for the right second to settle. They ride on light, on quiet drafts of air, on the small shifts you notice only when you slow down. If you listen, you might catch a muted rustle overhead or feel a ripple pass across your thoughts, hinting that fresh insight is dropping into reach. These hints are gentle, so you won't be startled, but they are firm enough that you cannot miss them. Expect ideas to arrive quietly in the first light. Because all of this is real, it reaches deeper than temporary feelings. It will not settle for mild inspiration. It presses forward until daily conditions bend. The change taking shape is certain, not hypothetical. It carries your name, fits your story, and arrives exactly on schedule. Soon, you will look back and realize that the shift you felt inside became visible outside, plans moving, relationships clearing, decisions growing obvious. When that happens, remember, certainty was never based on wishful thinking. It was built long ago, and each stage of your life has led directly to this turning point. Watch for confirmations tucked into normal conversation and tasks. So, child, keep your heart open. Yesterday's disappointments may have taught caution, yet they no longer set the rules. Let your inner life respond the way a calm lake ripples when a soft breeze arrives. Step into the fresh current that now runs beside your feet. Let the words I keep speaking guide every choice, because this is not a time for retreat or hesitation. The moment fits you, and the door ahead has been cut exactly to match the key resting in your hand. Walk forward, even if your knees still remember past stumbles. The design is precise, and your role is to move, not to second guess. Courage grows each time you take another step forward. Deep within, in corners rarely explored, something begins to stir. Truth once pressed down under silence and avoidance pushes upward with steady pressure. It does not arrive in a blaze. It rises like water seeping through rock, slow but unstoppable. Soon, it will reach open air, and its presence will reshape how you see history, yourself, and those around you. Nothing hidden stays hidden forever, and what surfaces next will redirect your steps for good. It may feel unsettling at first, as if familiar walls are shifting. But trust the process. Clarity always replaces unease with settled understanding. Once it has room to breathe, uneasiness will dissolve, replaced by stable, peaceful understanding. You will recognize the moment. It will not be a shaky guess or a brief feeling. It will be strong confirmation. Words you thought you would never hear. An honest admission from a person you once leaned on, later doubted, and finally released will reach your ears. They will come without clever phrasing or subtle excuses. What you will hear is plain regret wrapped in plain speech, and the certainty of it will surprise you. You might notice their shoulders drop, their pace slow, their voice steady, because rehearsed lines have fallen away. Their arrival itself will say as much as their language. They are here for truth, not performance. Receive the moment without trying to fit old patterns. They tried to bury the past. They kept busy, spoke lightly, and wore confidence like a coat. Yet each night, when activity faded and light footsteps echoed in empty halls, the memory of you hovered. My name and yours slipped into prayers spoken under their breath. Every attempt to ignore the weight only pressed it deeper. Over time, the load grew until silence could no longer support it, and acknowledgement became the only relief. They discovered that unresolved matters do not disappear. They simply wait, gathering weight until honesty becomes easier than pretending. That slow discovery prepared them for the conversation that now approaches your door. Persistence shaped them for the honest dialogue now forming. Tears have fallen where no one could see, but I watched. Words have been whispered into darkness, and I caught every syllable. Each hidden moment is recorded, and together they send a single signal through the air around you. Now, you feel it as a gentle vibration under ordinary sounds, hinting that truth is close, that long-closed chapters are about to open for review. The atmosphere carries a quiet announcement: it is time. You might notice it in sudden stillness during routine tasks or in unexpected calm during busy hours. Those tiny shifts are the opening notes of a larger story unfolding exactly when both hearts are ready. What lies ahead is not revenge. It is repair. I place a clear choice in front of you and the other person, and do not coerce either side. The question remains simple yet weighty: are you willing to forgive? Forgiveness never erases history, but it releases its hold. I will not remove your agency. I only provide an opening where reconciliation can begin if both hearts step through. The option stands calm and unmistakable. You can approach it today, next week, or later. But remember, opportunities, like doors, stay unlocked only for a season. Choose thoughtfully, knowing that whichever path you take will shape future peace. You traveled through a long night of confusion without striking back. You held your tongue while rumors circled, and you kept your heart soft when hardness seemed safer. Because of that restraint, you now hold a rare authority. The authority to decide whether to open the door of reconciliation, to leave it closed, or to open it partway under clear limits. This authority is not about control. It is about stewardship of your well-being and the other person's growth. Use it wisely. Listen to your inner sense of timing. Notice the evidence of genuine change, and consider counsel from trusted voices before you act, so your decision rests on more than emotion. They will arrive of their own accord, drawn by conviction that now speaks louder than pride. The inner debate they once silenced now drives them forward. When they stand before you, look past nervous gestures and listen for sincerity beneath their words. You will hear a simple plea: allow me to mend what I broke. Their willingness to face discomfort itself confirms that a shift has taken place inside them. If you watch closely, you may notice small signs: slower breathing, unguarded eyes, hands that no longer fidget with practiced confidence. Those subtle details reveal that this meeting is not staged. It is the fruit of honest wrestling. You do not need their apology to stand whole. I have already steadied you. Yet your steady presence can now serve as a safe refuge where they might begin again. You are not asked to lose yourself or carry responsibility for their choices. Instead, you are invited to offer clarity and kindness that may guide them toward healthier ground. If you embrace that invitation with wisdom, the ripples will reach people you may never meet, but who are watching from a distance and craving examples of honest growth. Such demonstrations teach more than lectures, showing that restoration, though difficult, remains possible when truth, courage, and patience join hands. All of heaven observes, grace and fairness stand side by side in this moment. And truth removes every mask, not to shame, but to lay a solid foundation for tomorrow. You are not only someone who has received pardon, you are trusted to extend it. That trust carries weight. Handle it with care, knowing that each act of mercy builds a path others may follow when they face similar crossroads. Mean words may forget themselves, but humble forgiveness lingers long in memory. When you treat another with patience, you quietly announce that cycles of injury need not repeat, and you leave clear tracks for weary travelers seeking a safer route. You may stretch out your arms or remain quiet. I respect whichever choice you make, and my care for you does not waver. Yet, if you select the harder path, offering forgiveness that springs from trust rather than impulse, people will notice a rare quality. They may not have words for it, but they will sense steadiness beyond normal strength, and curiosity will point them toward the source of that strength. Your action becomes a quiet signpost, reminding others that resolve and gentleness can occupy the same heart. Even if no one applauds, small hopes will take root in listeners who have begun to doubt that respectful endings are still possible. Listen with more than ears. A knock is approaching. Repentance is rewriting familiar sentences. A fresh start speeds toward you. Pursuit is unnecessary. Opportunities usually fade when chased, but this one moves under its own momentum, eager to reach your threshold. Pay attention to little disruptions that seem random, an unexpected message, a delayed plan, a pause in conversation. They may be the footsteps of that knock drawing near. When it arrives, stay present. Resist the urge to retreat into analysis or future projections. Simply open, observe, and respond as clarity guides. The moment will carry enough light for the next small move. You do not need a full map. This is not an ordinary day. It is an appointment set long ago. Messengers move now under firm direction, gathering every detail so the event unfolds without friction. What reaches you is clear light. No ordinary lecture, no brief comfort. Light that cuts straight through misunderstanding, leaving room for honest vision to emerge. Such clarity does not appear often, and when it does, it alters priorities, bringing what matters most into sharp outline. Expect moments of deep recognition, when distractions fall silent and goals you once chased shrink in importance. Hold that stillness. It will help you decide which commitments to keep and which to release without regret. A message has been issued, written not with ink but with tears, long nights, and quiet surrender. It contains no defense, only solid truth strong enough to shift perception. Truth once buried now refuses silence and presses forward until it is heard. When you read or hear it, listen closely. The words may be simple, yet they carry the weight of seasons spent in reflection. Let them settle before you answer. Truth often arrives without decorations, and its plain form can tempt quick dismissal. Sit with it. Allow it to breathe, and you will notice layers you missed at first glance, layers that invite both honesty and relief. Someone you assumed had left for good now stands at the edge of surrender. They have been carrying a part of your story they never earned the right to keep. That burden grew heavier each year until it demanded response. Now, they face that weight with open hands, ready to acknowledge and release it. Their new posture signals willingness to restore balance, not to defend former choices. Observe how they speak less about events and more about responsibility. Notice how they resist blaming circumstances. These shifts, though small, matter. They show that self-protective narratives have thinned, clearing space for honest exchange and authentic mutual respect. Whether they speak a full apology or let grief show through quiet eyes, you will recognize the change. They are not the same person who once caused pain. Adjustment began deep within, not through punishment, but through patience, reflection, and grace. Growth of that kind seldom happens under bright lights. It develops slowly in hidden rooms where pride loosens and honesty gains ground. You may still see traces of uncertainty, yet even that hesitance points to humility. Give yourself permission to acknowledge their progress without dismissing your own past hurt. Holding both truths at once, pain remembered and growth observed, creates a balanced view from which wise choices can rise. They do not come clothed in guilt alone. They come because they can no longer outrun the inner call that repeats your name. Perhaps it echoed in quiet hours or echoed sharp in a dream. Perhaps your silence spoke louder than any argument. Whatever the channel, the message stayed until it overcame every excuse. That enduring call now guides their steps out of hiding and into candor. Remember, sustained reflection is costly. It demands time and emotional honesty. By appearing at your door, they demonstrate willingness to pay that cost. Recognizing their effort does not erase earlier failings, but it does mark genuine forward movement worth noting. They arrive to restore, not to reclaim. They carry no demands, no list of rights. They stand ready to do the work required to set things right. When you face them, you will not see the person who wounded you. You will see a soul reshaped by insight. The change will not erase history. Yet it does adjust the future, because new understanding always creates new possibilities. Even so, stay alert. True change is measured over time through consistent actions more than emotional moments. Give space for that consistency to appear. In doing so, you protect your own growth while allowing theirs to solidify under real-world conditions. No one pressures you to forgive quickly. Healing moves at its own pace. Set plans that safeguard your progress and honor your present capacity. Still, remember, when forgiveness is chosen freely, it cuts ties to bitterness and loosens knots inside you. It gifts ease to your breathing and space to your future decisions. You might forgive in layers, first releasing the weight of constant recall, later letting go of the story's power to stir anger, and finally finding room to wish the other well. Each layer is valid. Celebrate small advances instead of grading yourself against imagined deadlines. Growth that lasts often arrives through repeated gentle choices, not single leaps. Only you and I know the full story, the unseen hours, the conversations replayed in your thoughts. Because I understand, I now invite you into a fresh chapter where hurts no longer supply your main identity. You move from survivor to narrator, someone who carries wisdom distilled from experience and can share it without resentment. Others will find courage simply by noticing the steadiness you gained in hard seasons. You need not craft speeches. Your calm presence will communicate more than crafted lines ever could. Over time, this quiet strength will redefine how you see yourself, not as a collector of scars, but as a source of balanced perspective. The clarity shared today does not aim to condemn others. It lifts you. It wipes away the last echoes of pain that tried to linger. You no longer need outside validation to know your worth. Yet, if a genuine apology arrives, remember, you hold a key. When used with care, that key can unlock growth not only for you, but also for the one who once harmed you. Growth that may ripple outward farther than either of you expect. Such influence is quiet yet potent, like morning light that fills a room before anyone notices. Handle it with humility, asking for guidance at each step so your actions stay aligned with steady insight. Whether you welcome them fully, share a guarded cordiality, or choose distance for now, be sure of one truth: you have stepped into a new season. Old loops are broken. Your choices are guided by steady insight rather than external pressure. You will no longer feel compelled to explain yourself or chase approval. Instead, you will evaluate events with calm eyes and decide from inner conviction. Some may not understand this calm authority and may misread it as aloofness. Resist the urge to overclarify. Those willing to look closer will discover that freedom can be both gentle and firm, and that peace need not apologize for its presence. Let this season stand as evidence that nothing done in quiet devotion is ever wasted. Strength built in hidden moments now shows itself in public settings without forcing attention. I confirm you in front of a wider circle, not to elevate ego, but to prove that patient faithfulness still matters and still leads to meaningful outcomes. People may note the calm resolve in your face, the measured words you choose, the way you listen before speaking. These simple traits carry more influence than loud declarations. They point back to long hours when you refined your focus in silence and shaped your character away from applause. Now, the harvest is ready. Good things wait to fill your hands, not for display, but to refresh those drained of hope. I raise you not because you demanded notice, but because your heart is fit to carry responsibility. Where heat and wind once tested you, you now stand steady, able to share resources, advice, and calm perspective with people struggling under pressures you remember well. Use what arrives with open palms, allowing generosity to flow naturally instead of clinging to proof of success. Doing so will protect you from pride and invite continual growth, ensuring that abundance remains a tool for service rather than a trophy. Some who once wounded you may reappear, yet they no longer shape your identity. Forgiveness now rises from strength, not pressure. Whether you welcome them back or keep healthy distance, you act from freedom, a freedom chosen by following purpose instead of lingering in bitterness. This autonomy lets you bless without losing yourself and set limits without guilt. Stand firm in that balance. Remember, kindness and clarity can coexist. Offer respect, expect respect, and walk forward with a steady gait. Amen. Thanks for watching God's Helps. Subscribe for daily divine messages. Click on the bell icon. Don't miss out daily God's message.